Welcome everybody. Today we're testing a fun product. It's the Thermalmaster Thermal. Now what's interesting about this thermal is that it has a little flip right here. So you don't even have to look through it. In fact, there's nowhere for you to look like in other thermals that we've gone over. You are just looking at a screen here and pointing it around and looking for different things while you're out in the woods. Without further ado, let's take this out into nature and see if we can find any nighttime critters, especially birds. Come with me, let's see what's out there. Because real quick, before we go test this thing, I want to go over a few features that it does have. So it has your different lighting modes. You have white hot mode, which is pretty cool. You have black hot mode, which is probably what I would normally use for birds. You have this red hot mode that just helps you see kind of that reddish hue on things. You have kind of this purple and gold mode, which I think is pretty awesome. And then you have this like night vision mode. The thing about the night vision mode, I can't really get it to work very well. It's very, very dark. That's the only thing I would say about that. But I do like that you have these different options that you can flit through with the click of a button, really. Additionally, you have different types of settings as well. You can go to bird, which is just going to pull out your contrast even more. You can go to forest, which is going to put you in a more forest context and not look for the smallest of creatures out there. And then you can go with plain, which I believe is just like any other context that you have. It does have a recording capability. You can take videos with this and photos. It also has Wi-Fi connection, so you can connect it to Wi-Fi as well as Bluetooth. And the Wi-Fi connection is specifically for the app. It does have a hotspot mode, which helps you focus on the hotspots. You can focus the dial with turning the dial here, which is really nice, bringing the image in and out of focus. And it also has an image calibration system as well, so you can calibrate the image for your liking. The one thing I would say is that I don't like is that this is all touchscreen except for these two buttons back here. These just change the modes, and one of them is a laser pointer. So you do have that, but unfortunately, if you want to record video or photo, you've got to go navigate the menu on the touchscreen and get to that option as far as I can tell so far. So not the biggest fan of that, but we'll see if that's a hindrance out in the field. But yeah, let's go ahead and take this thing out and see how it does. All right, everyone, we're out here in the field testing the Thermalmaster Thermal. Now, what's really cool about this is that you don't actually, you don't need any exterior device. It kind of looks like one of those vintage camcorders. So this is your touch screen right here. And this is the whole thermal, just this thing. Has a nice spin dial for focusing and a few other features like a laser pointer if you want it, as well as just different thermal modes. Now, we've already tested a thermal on the channel, and so this is probably going to be familiar for you, but I do like that it kind of folds up into this little camcorder shape. I can put it in my jacket pocket, and then I can go look for birds. So it's not dark enough yet, but it will be in just a little bit. And then I'm going to try to go back to the saw-whet owls that we saw last time to see if they're still there. If they're still there, we should get great views through the thermal. If not, we'll have to do a little bit more testing, but I'm excited to try this out. Let's see what's out there. It's still not fully dark yet here in the canyon. As you can see, you can still see me. But before it got too dark, I did get an American robin on camera. You can obviously make out that there is something there, but it's not completely HD or anything. And I'm not sure if that's just because it's not fully dark outside yet, or if that's just a product of, budget thermals being able to pinpoint you to something, but not necessarily have like that HD view that some of the higher end thermals have. So still a lot of testing to be done, but we were able to tell that there was something in the path. And the only reason I knew it was a robin is because I could see it with my bare eye. So we're going to continue looking for birds while we're out here, obviously, for owls for a little bit longer, see if we can find any, and then obviously we want to test it on some mammals and stuff, some bigger things. Maybe I'll have Leela come step in and I can show you what it looks like I did with Daxton last time, but let's see if we can get anything on the thermal. All right, so here's some of the footage that I got with the Thermalmaster. As you can see, because this is handheld, it's pretty shaky, but whoa, did you just see that real quick? Let me just go back and pause it. Right there is a bird. Now, this could be a flammulated owl. It could be a saw-whet owl. Who actually knows what it is, but that's pretty cool. Flying through the air, I believe I have some lesser nighthawks flying by briefly. And then this creature right here flying in the sky, I believe is a bat. The problem with the thermal is that the definition, even with the manual focus, isn't super great. So a lot of these just look like blobs in the sky, but I do think this is some species of bat. Then we have this common raven flying by. You can tell it's a common raven because of the rowing motion with its wings. And I even got a lizard on camera. This was pretty cool. There was a lizard hanging out by the pool, and you can clearly see a lizard up on the wall. Now, I don't know if I would have been able to pick this out if I didn't know that the lizard was already hanging out in this area, but it is cool that it picked up a cold-blooded creature like a lizard. Then we have some of these mourning doves. Now, these came down to the water, and I'll cycle through some of these modes so you can see the different modes on the Thermalmaster. As you can tell, it does its job. It does what it's advertised to do. It picks out differences in the heat signatures, and you can clearly see that there are birds here taking drinks from this pool type area. Some more shots of the mourning dove. This one's a little bit further away, so just to give you another angle of what it would look like. Obviously, as the birds get further away from you, the definition gets worse and worse, and I'll cycle through some of these modes as well so you can see it. I do think it's interesting that the signature picks up on the reflection in the water. I don't know how that works, but it is interesting to note. And there's that night vision mode that just doesn't seem to work, and then back to that other black hot mode. This is the clip I'm most proud of. This is a greater roadrunner that I was able to capture with the thermal, my favorite bird of all time. Really cool that it was able to pick that up briefly. All right, so let's talk about the Thermalmaster Flip Thermal. Now, what's really cool about this device is that you don't have to look through it. A lot of thermals you have to look through and try to spot the birds like you would a monocular. And because those thermals have a screen on the inside, once you're done looking through them, you're pretty much blinded. Because the bright light from the screen when you're looking through a thermal is so bright that it takes your eye forever to adjust back to, you know, normal. So there's an upside to this having a screen. The one downside is you're still gonna have your eyes trying to adjust when you're looking at the screen. The other thing that I found really difficult in the field was the fact that there isn't a monocular. With a monocular or even a binocular thermal, you can look through it and kind of know exactly where you're pointed. With this, you have to position it and watch as I tilt up, the screen starts tilting down. And so I gotta keep making sure I can see the screen as I go up. And it's really hard to figure out where you're pointing this thing when you're out in the field. That's a really kind of a downside, in my opinion, of this style of thermal. If you have subjects that are super still, just sitting in a tree, like an owl roosting in a tree, this would be kind of perfect for that situation because you could kind of just sit here and watch it with your regular eyes and watch it with the thermal as well. And so I think there's pros and cons to having something like this. One of the other things that I like about the Thermalmaster is this adjustable knob. It's really easy to bring things in and out of focus, and it's a really easy twist for you. One thing I don't like is this cap. It falls off, and I've almost lost it about 20 times. It's just like really flimsy. You can switch out this hand strap for like a shoulder strap, which is nice. And the hand strap I just found myself using. See, there goes the cap. The hand strap I just use most of the time because I was just putting this in my pocket while I was out looking for birds. And I would say overall this Thermalmaster thermal performed pretty similarly to other budget thermals that I've tried. You can see the birds, as you saw with the American Robin clip. You can tell there's something there, but it's not a clear enough picture to be able to tell even kind of what it is. And I think that's kind of the point of these thermals at this price point is it's to try to get you to help, you know, pick something out in a crowd rather than see what it is. So you'd need like a secondary tool, like a flashlight. And I think, in my opinion, that defeats the purpose of a non-invasive tool like a thermal. Now for mammals, this thing works incredible. I think it has incredible definition for bigger animals and bigger creatures. And so for mammals, this would be perfect. But because this is kind of advertised towards birders, I think it does fall short. Now you have to take into account the price point. For how much this costs, it's got very decent and capable capabilities. Obviously, if you want what I'm looking for, you have to go up into the thousands of dollar range to purchase something with that definition. So it's almost more of a this tool does what it's supposed to do at the price point that it's supposed to do it, and it does it well. But would a birder want to use a tool that is not necessarily optimal yet for birding? That's certainly up to you.